Welcome to another episode of The Essence. I'm your host, KB Tyndall. We are powered by Tent TV and Validated Magazine and Live 89 FM. Today, I have 3 out of 4 legends in the building. Group called the Horsemen, man. Consists of Rass Kass, Kurupt, Killer Priest, and the one and only Canibus. Thank you, gentlemen, man, for taking time out this evening to be down with me tonight, man, and get this interview done, man. I really appreciate the love, first of all.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into it, man. You know, all 4 of you have been super consistent in your careers and releasing music. You know, you guys together as a collective had a ton of music that was never released, and then you also had some stuff that was heavily bootleg. It took you guys 20 years to get back together to release this new project, The Last Ride, aka the debut final album. Anybody can answer this question, or you can all give your own take on it. Why did you guys choose that title for this project?
Anybody? Kurupt's muted. Let me text Lisa and let her know. But
I think he got it.
You want to take that? Want to take it?
The best one to give that answer to that is Rass Kass, because Rass Kass led the ship,
okay,
and put it all together. You know, Canibus, myself, and Priest, we love the work he did and his dedication to the Horseman game. But Rass really came up with the ideas and the whole whoop-wop of it. So Rass, break it down for him.
Yeah, man. As like you noted, KB, you know, we had a couple of false starts. We would get bootleg, you know, whatever. Right. So people never really heard a Horseman album. They would hear a Horseman song on Canibus album or Rass Kass album, whatever, you know, but they never heard a collective project. They heard our ideas, shit wasn't mixed, whatever. So we never really got a fair shot. And I felt like psychologically we had to close that door. So this was the last ride to show that we could actually execute. And then, you know, kind of biblically, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. So we closed that door to open a new chapter. It was really wild. Okay.
All right, dope. Kurupt is famine, Rass Kass is pestilence, Canibus is war, and Killer Priest is death. How did you guys go about choosing which title you would go by?
Naturally. You know, Canibus came up with the whole idea, if I'm not mistaken. Canibus was the one with the creative views of what we're going to be as the Horsemen.
Right.
Am I correct, Rass?
I think so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Candy came up
and he is war. Listen to his voice. You hear Canibus, you hear the war. You hear
the war.
You know
once he gave us the idea, we naturally fit in pocket on who we're going to be. You know what I'm saying? Right. Canibus said it from the door. He is war. That's what he said. I'm war. Right. Tell him, Candy.
that was when we was young and boisterous and robust and wild.
Yeah.
You know, that's when lyricism, I mean, really, to tell you the truth, Raz, I met Raz in 92? No, 93 or 90, was it 93?
Like 93?
93. Patchworks. That's right. That's right. And Raz, you know, everybody was buzzing about Raz at the time. I know that the label he was on, he pretty much was up there when all of the people who came out later on, you know, Raz was there. Raz was there in that beginning. Kurupt was out before all of us.
All of us.
Right.
Kurupt was like the premier lyricist on the planet. And it was always deep to have Kurupt come on a track that Snoopy was on. You know what I mean? I call him Snoopy because Kurupt called him Snoopy, but it's really Snoop Dogg, man. You know, when Snoop it was hard, man. All that shit that they was coming with was hard, but when Kurupt used to add that element to Death Row, that, you know what I mean? It wasn't really nobody rhyming like that. And so lyricism was the key. And Raz, you know, put me on that Rhyme or Reason soundtrack with Ruck and Rock, you know, rest in peace,
Sean Price.
Yeah. And And it was, you know, the world was different, man. The world was different. Hip hop was different.
Right.
It's hard to believe that it was so long ago.
What soundtrack you talking about, Kenny?
You got it right there on the wall. Yeah, nigga.
Right. classic joint.
Yeah.
And I want to send a shout out to Krondon for bringing me my plaque. Krondon went and got my plaque. It was sitting on the corner in the A&R office, and Krondon jacked that for me and brought me my plaque with my name on it.
That's love right there.
I want to send a shout out to Kron for that.
Definitely. On this project, like, did you guys get the opportunity to actually work in the same studio, or was it like a combination of sending tracks back and forth to each other? And which method of recording do you guys prefer?
Okay, you know what? Let me see if I can. But pardon to help y'all. I just got to bust somebody.
Okay. Yeah, Raz talking to Russell right now. You know what I'm saying? Talking to Russell Simmons and shit. Raz he's a busy man. You know, he talking to Clyde Davis and shit. You know what I'm saying? But basically, you know, Raz was the orchestrator. We had lyrics throughout the years, and then we had new lyrics. And Raz put it all together. Him and him maybe melted it all together because it came up with the project. Candy approved of it, I approved of it, and Priest approved of it. He came to my house personally and played the album. Like, man, I just put it all together like a melting pot, like gumbo.
Right.
And we love the work there. That's why we give Rass his flowers for what he did, because I loved it. I was like, amazing. You know what I'm saying? And we hit him with some records that was put out before, but the people need to hear it all together as one. So that's why we chose to keep them. And, you know, we wasn't tripping off of making a hit. We were tripping off of pure, unadulterated hip-hop culture of hip-hop about the mic. I think y'all got a dosage of that on Versus. See, you know, hit records, and then you had Jada Kiss.
Which was pure, unadulterated, unfiltered MCing at the highest level.
I'm so proud to see that. That's the page that the Horsemen's on, man.
Right.
You can have the biggest hit records in the world, but when we grab the mic, so
right. I mean, that kind of like brings me to my next question. Like, what are some of those ooh and ah moments that you guys can point out where you pushed each other to be even more, you know, lyrical and to be, you know, even better on the track? You know, are there any kind of standout moments on a specific song that kind of like stands out for you where that took place?
Well, for me, Gotti, Famine, it was Impossible. Candy, you remember when we did Impossible?
I remember Impossible. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite joints. That and Morticians are two of my favorite joints off the project.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm out in Alabama, nigga. Told the bitch to make me a sandwich, nigga. Peanut butter and jelly going ham with the hammer. Motherfucker, you gonna learn. Leave us alone, son. Leave us alone. Like they better leave Jada alone, and they better leave us alone, cause you do not want to awaken the day up too late. We are woke.
I'm gonna take it back to the first Horseman round with a song called Shaky Love. Rupp was on that with me. And we had recorded, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 songs that night at Mama Joe's out there off of Lancashire.
Yeah, we did.
Coast. And yeah, Dad came up to the studio, nigga had a Ferrari and put a mountain of turtle on the table. My man Pac-Man was like, yo, you think I can get a butt? A mountain.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna make sure I never say that, because you're the only man that can say that. If anybody else do it, they biting. A mountain.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the mountain of turtle on the table. And
the turtle.
I remember Priest.
Get the mountain of turtle, nigga. That's dope.
I remember we was all in the
Where
section.
That fool, the dope. Man, go get the mountain of turtle.
It was a little bit tight because we were all in the session. Everybody was writing to the beat.
Right.
As we writing to the beat, you know, naturally, you know, everybody want to kind of see where the other one's going with the rhyme, right? We know it's Mike Rec, but we don't know how intense it's going to be. So Priest jumped up and said, you know, I'm ready. So Priest stepped to the booth. When Priest went in the booth, he vocaled the rhyme. He put his pad on the stand, and he started to vocal the rhyme. He did a little run over, and then for a reference, and then he started vocaling. When Priest killed the verse, when he was done, he came out the booth. So I was like, I'm ready. So I went in after Priest. I'll never forget this shit. I went in and he left his pad on the stand. So I went in and I put the headphones on, and I remember the rhyme that he had just put down. And as I was looking at the pad, waiting for my pre-roll reference to come up, I was noticing that what he wrote on the pad is not the rhyme that he said. And I thought that shit was crazy, right? So he went in there and said another rhyme, not the one on the pad. And that's kind of like what we was dealing with each other. We had so many rhymes, man. Like I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he went in there and spit something else, because the one that he left on the pad was crazy. And I don't think he's ever vocaled that rhyme ever. But you know, that kind of shit, just the eerie shit. We never knew what each other was gonna say. We just knew there was gonna be Mike Rec, somebody was gonna yellow tape that beat. And we was just in there, we was challenging each other, man. And it was for me, it was, I'll never forget the experience. And you know, I'm glad that we was able to get together and do it again. This time there was a lot more to it, in terms of, it wasn't just Mike Rec and do it. Like, they got a couple records on this new one, like a couple of them sound like radio singles. I don't know if that even matters anymore, because it's like, you know, who care about radio when you got satellite and all these different apps and everything. But insofar as, you know, that pen game, you know, it's a treasure to rock with these guys, man. You know, these guys, you know, if you put them up ball for ball, pound for pound, you know, these are the nicest guys on the planet. You know, among them, they're among them. You know, I don't want to take, you know, for me, you know, a lot of times for me, it's mainly just trying to, I pretty much just wanted to be off the bench. Because remember, the way my music career started out, I was trying to get off the bench and had a lot of difficulty doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so to get around, you know what I'm saying, a group of MCs that, where it was like everybody had some time on the field, I really enjoyed that. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, you know, shout out to our era, man. Like we really did the damn thing. You know what I mean? We went hard in the paint when it wasn't really, we could, you know, it wasn't about the bread, because we was doing more with less bread, right? You know, we were still living like kings. We was still, any town we went into, you know what I'm saying? We had room and board, whatever you needed, it was available for you. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that earlier today.
The greatest thing I heard since we started, hello? The greatest thing I heard since we've been on the woo-wop is a mountain of turtles.
A mountain of turtles.
I'm on live with Canibus and Rass, bitch. I got a mountain of turtles, bitch.
Hey, you want to investigate further, the reason I called it that is because that's what it looked like. And my man Pac-Man, probably watching this right now, Pac was like, yo, you think Dad's a mind if I grab a bud off of that? I say, yo, it's a mountain, man. He ain't even gonna know. What he gonna do, weigh it? Because Dad has left. He left the studio. He left in a Ferrari. Yeah, he left. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, that shit was crazy.
That's crazy, yo.
Matter of fact, Tyrese came through the studio that
show
night.
How you do that there in Harlem, boy.
Tyrese came through the studio that night.
Yeah.
Tyrese came
we got
through.
You, Kenny. When you come out, Kenny, we got you.
Anytime, whatever
any place. We got you too, Raz. You can roll it up in your bugler.
Facts. Make a call and knock. I got you right now. I'll make a phone call. I got you, Raz.
Good shit.
I gotta give you something for your fucking buglers. Canibus, he's still rolling up these goddamn buglers with tobacco. No turtle, just straight shit.
All right, so fellas,
hey, Raz, like, I'm gonna roll this up with horse shit, all manure, no motherfucking turtle.
Yeah,
you crazy, bro.
I'm just saying though, you gotta put some turtle in them buglers.
All right, so like I said, Morticians and Impossible are my favorite tracks off the project, man. What's each of y'all favorite tracks on the album, and why would it be your favorite? Which one would you guys choose?
I'm with you. Morticians is my favorite.
Morticians is nasty.
Yeah, that shit is.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah, that's woof. That shit
the reason why I love it so much, I'll be honest, the one who stole the cake, the Jada of Morticians to me is Priest.
Yeah.
He came in because like he had meat cleavers and he just started cutting everything. The bitches, I'm killing everybody. Everybody died. Nigga, he in Morticians, he purely showed why he's deaf.
Yeah.
Right. I like that record too because we did that record together. It's one of the songs where we actually
okay. That says a lot. Okay. All right.
So
once Gotti started talking about the mustard gas and the Mike, you got a problem, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you start getting at that mustard gas with you, man.
When you start talking about mustard gas, it's over, huh?
Good luck.
Mustard gas, man. Good luck.
Man, take your neck, leg like the Grudge, motherfucker. Yeah.
Don't budge, motherfucker. Hey, off of that turtle.
Off that turtle.
If I hear niggas say turtle, if I hear niggas say turtle and they ain't get it from Canibus, cut him tying his ass up.
Right.
On hood.
Oh man.
I knew that record was gonna be crazy when Kurupt did the hook.
Yeah.
It's the most it's such a lyrical record that he just went straight gangbanging hood. How come he like, oh, this is great. It's the best record ever. I love it.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, so it's no secret, man.
So
all these guys are elite MCs, man, at the top of your fucking craft, man. And that's just a testament to the work that you guys put in. My question is, when you guys were young, like before you even became MCs, who was the artist that you guys listened to that said, yo, I want to be dope like that? That made you want to be a lyricist and an MC and not just a rapper?
KRS-One for me, and then Kurupt. He was the first nigga kind of nailing where I was trying to go as an MC.
Okay.
Like the quintessential BG. Like,
gotcha.
Like that, that LA, he always, I told him many times, I heard niggas don't give a fuck, and his verse was just fucking, it was what every LA kid culturally grows up doing.
Okay.
It's about growing up in the neighborhood and then joining the hood, like getting quoted in the whole story. I was just like, that shit's crazy. Yeah, so that'd be my two, KRS-One, and then the Ruptor helped shape the end of it.
Yeah. For me, Kurupt was out early enough to be an inspiration to everybody in our age group. I mean, Rupp was young, man. He was out young. You feel me? Like, in high school, he was already out. In high school, he was already out. And, so he was the inspiration because of his age, getting busy on the mic like that. He must have been like maybe 15. He had to have been, man. And in terms of like some of the elders, for me, it would be, I would say Rakim,
right, of course.
G-Rap, Kane, and crazy enough, man, like Cube was a big influence for me. Because he was aggressive. He was so aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. For me, man, like that was like some of my favorites, man.
Okay.
Definitely Cube. Definitely Naughty, Tretch.
Yeah, Tretch was a beast.
Tretch was dope.
Yeah.
Tretch was dope.
Absolutely. What about for you,
Rass Kass.
After I laughed and I dashed.
Rass Kass is a part of Ice Cube's top 15.
Wow. Ice Cube gave me his top 15, man. That shit made
my mama.
I
salted it. I seen it.
That's an honor.
Like, I'm so honored. That's better than any fucking Grammy.
Yeah.
Man,
right.
You know,
yeah. That was the Grammy.
That was my Grammy.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man.
Right, nigga. That's Ice Cube.
I mean,
you heard that. Candy said that out the blue, like even the Cube. Because that's a lot coming from Canibus. I mean, who would ever think, man? Ice Cube would never think that he had that type of
influence on
outside of the city, you know what I'm saying? Outside of the land, outside of the coast. And yes, he has. You know what I'm saying? That's Canibus, man. He's bored. He murders MCs for a living, my nigga. And part of his inspiration is murder.
Absolutely.
Ice Cube. That's
absolutely
huge.
That's definitely huge. Absolutely. Take you back again to when you guys were kids. What was your first memory of hip hop?
You know what?
culture?
Too real quick. My bad. Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
There was an MC out that put out Tales from the Crack Side. You know what I'm saying? K Solo, and he was over there on the road.
Solo.
Lowe's nasty. Yeah. Rupp no. Back then, I mean, the Fugitive. He had that hoodie on. He had that Carhartt hoodie on before any rapping in rap early. So, you know, that Tales from the Crack Side was crazy.
Leave you spellbound.
Spellbound. That's right. Solo was dope too.
What the fuck you talking about? Break it down. You don't understand me?
Absolutely.
Crack Side Fugitive. Fugitive and Tales on the Crack Side. But yeah, go ahead.
So the question was, what was your earliest memory of hip hop culture?
Well, you know, mine's, I'm from Philly, so, you know, I came from the era of Spoonie G.
Legend.
And Spoonie G, he was killing Maestro. Through rain, through shine, or even a blizzard. Everybody knows that I'm the Mike Wizard. I'm the MICSTRO. I go by the name of the MC Maestro. You know, Maestro. All that came from my cousin Skippy G. Sharon. That's what I wanted to be like. That's what made me start wanting to be an MC from the door. Was I wanted to be like him and emulate him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Spoonie G, Maestro. You know what I'm saying? You know, those were the keys to me. That's the way before. I was, 9, 10 years old, some shit. 8. Yeah, those was the keys right there. Then later on, the hip-hop as it grew, you know, Melly Mel and them was key, Grandmaster Flash.
Absolutely.
One song called Nas. What was that shit called? Scorpio.
Yeah, that was one of Grandmaster Flash.
Yo,
yeah,
that shit come on, niggas start pop locking and all that. So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Cold Crush Brothers got big.
Grandmaster Kaz and Cold Crush. Yeah,
Cold
absolutely,
Crush got big.
Absolutely. Yeah, legendary. Yes.
Then I got
when you say culture.
I fell in love with they showed me original West Coast hip hop, which one of my, my Uncle Tila. You know what I'm saying? King T was a part of that right there, man. Back in the days, him, Pooh, Mixmaster Spade. You know what I'm saying? Cause that's the West Coast. I got educated to what was original to them. Like, damn, they was out during the times I was with Philly, so this is what I heard. Then I got educated on original West Coast. And the first thing that blew me away in the West Coast that influenced me was Ice Cube, like Canny said. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard that original NWA album, favorite record, nigga, I Ain't the One.
That shit crazy.
One to get played like a poop butt. Then I'm like, damn, I heard a bitch is a bitch.
That was my record.
Oh my God, he was just so fly, so sharp, and he was on the mic. And then in the main one who really threw me away from Texas, but the West Coast put him in the game, the DOC. That's when I was shut
DOC.
down.
Yeah.
Doc. Yeah, I was shut down after that. Like, because Doc taught me style. And when I got with Death Row to actually be around the Doc, he enhanced my style. Doc and Snoopy changed my style. They brought me style with this aggressive lyricism I got. It taught me how to have fun on the mic and make songs. Right. Because all I wanted to do was stab a nigga with this microphone fork. Take it and put it on the mantle.
Yeah.
We did ain't no fun, you know. We had the beat,
microphone fork.
We did ain't no fun. Dad made the beat. You hear how nice that beat is. Boop, boop, and I was just like, oh yeah, okay. And then Dog said, what you got, Kurupt? I said, okay, check this out, right? Yeah. So I murder MCs for a living. Lyrical abilities to destroy planets. I got Dog said, whoa, wait, Kurupt, wait. Right. Can't kill every MC on every record. You got to rap about things that people can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all doing when you was in the 60s? You know, what was y'all doing? What was y'all fun times? You know, what y'all had cracking? You got to talk about things like that. Nate, what you got? When I met you last night, baby. He said, go let Nate laid his. Yeah. And it was just like Kurupt. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And give me those tools. Yeah. So I said, okay. I'm going to put a little Snoop Dogg style in my rap. You know, well, if Kurupt gave a fuck about a bitch, I'd always be bro. I said, man, that's corny. Okay, what else can I say? Whoop, and I said it, and niggas was like, and I was like, oh, you like that? So I just kept on going, and Dog said, Kurupt, you go. And that's when I laid one of my most famous bars, which ain't even MC's bars. You know, most famous Kurupt thing that always lasted throughout my career was if I gave a fuck about this funk bag, turtle mouth, funky, crocodile, stinking ass fishy bitch, I'd always be broke.
Always be broke.
I never have these turtles to smoke. You know what I'm saying? My most famous line there. I ain't got to say it. Well, if Kurupt gave a...
Yeah.
I see it every show. That shit is awesome.
Crazy.
That's rock and roll shit. When you just do that.
Yeah, that's definitely rock and roll status. Hell yeah. Rock and roll status. What about for you too? What about for you, Canibus? Who you know, what was your earliest memory of the culture?
So when you ask culture and an earliest memory, pretty much for me, I didn't get a chance to get around MCs as often, or groups, basically like superstar celebrities, because you remember back then there was probably only maybe at most in rap total no more than 24 artists, man, and there was only maybe half a dozen that were like superstars, you know. Right. For me at the time, I would have been in Miami, and so you talking about Uncle Luke, right? You got Two Live Crew. You had a group that was trying to Afro Rican, you know, with Derek and them. I don't even know if people know how closely Afro Rican and Two Live Crew was, but Derek was trying to, you know, I was basically, you know, had a record contract. My mama was like, oh, hell nah, you ain't signing this. But I was, 14, 15 years old at the time Special Ed was out. Okay. And I remember, you know, every day after school going over to the studio, you know, working it out on them beats. You know, it was a little bit, you know, it's different. It was Miami based, but it was a big deal back then. And Miami bass, you know, the 808s they was using 808s back then. So, and then of course, you know, we all know that in terms of pushing the boundaries and the envelope of what could be said on record, even though it wasn't heavily lyrical, it was still you know what I'm saying, Uncle Luke, man, Two Live Crew, they was still talking that, like, they was fighting for our rights to say what we wanted to say.
Absolutely.
It was crazy. And then in terms of like, so for me, it was mainly that vibe, and then going to like the conferences. So we talking about like the How Can I Be Down, you know what I mean?
Yep.
The Jack the Rapper, you know,
New Music Seminar.
Yeah, those conferences were always fun. You know, you had Howard University at the time, you know, Biz was I remember I always used to see Biz out sometimes. He'd be walking with the crates of records, and I would step to Biz and be like, yo, man, I got a demo. Be like, yo, hold my records real quick. Biz was rough on the
rest
brother.
Rest in peace
man.
to the Biz, man, for real.
Yeah, rest in peace to the king, man. You know what I mean? Because Biz, when I finally got a chance to work with him and do a record with him, you know, it was to take this job and shove it. Is with Mike Judge for the soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Biz really Biz was an influence on me, man, just from being out here, because he was in the DC, Baltimore area. And Biz was just always he was approachable. You know what I'm saying? He was approachable, and you know, at the very least, he would inspire you to, you know what I'm saying, make that demo better. He was never fronting. He never fronted on the youngins, because I mean, everybody was coming at Biz, man, because even in, you know, just a lot of the moment of silences and the music that they were playing, I'm realizing that those records, a lot of those singles that Biz had, they came off of one album, you know, and then you know, it make you remember how labels used to allow us, or just in general, we were allowed to have, you know, four or five singles off of one album. You know, they wasn't trying to get rid of you after one single or two singles. And Biz's timing was always impeccable. I always marvel at his timing, you know. And you know, we're gonna miss him.
Absolutely.
But that those guys, when you say culture, earliest memories, Biz, you know, Biz, How Can I Be Down, Jack the Rapper, Andre Harrell, you know what I mean? When he was traveling from state to state with the with like it was like a throne. He was sitting on a throne like a king, and he was going from state to state like a talent search thing. That's what I remember about.
Hey, Kenny. See, Kenny's taking y'all to so much of the real, especially for our generation.
True history,
Jack the Rapper. You know what I'm saying? We had outlets back then. You had to be extra tight though, and that's the difference. You know, we had to earn ours. Jack the Rapper. You know, Kenny. They really don't know about Jack the Rapper, but you know, that was a big influence to all of us as artists.
Yo, Rup. I remember Lil Wayne, because I had A+. I was, you know, A+. We was, you know, we was all running with Lost Boys, and
right.
Plus was the same age as Lil Weezy, and Lil Weezy, because I was doing the backup for A+, holding him down when he was performing at Jack the Rapper, and Lil Weezy was like, yo, can you hold me down like that? I was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Lil Weezy was a baby, man.
Yeah.
He was a baby.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. In Miami. That's what I think when I think culture. Because that's when we used to get together, and there was no violence. There was no violence.
No violence,
just love, man. People used to drop.
You know what, Kenny? What, Kenny? I mean, he also brought up another thing. You know, Canibus keeps it so original in the woo-wop. But Biz Markie, man, you know, you give flowers when flowers are due. Unfortunately, we couldn't give it when he was alive. But we gave it in our own ways. People like Snoopy, who did the Vapors over, and Canibus, myself, Rass, But tell me something, Candy, this is my greatest Bismarcky record.
Make the music. Yeah, make the music, nigga. Yeah. Because I started out beatboxing. I know that. Yeah.
I want you.
Yeah.
I want you. What? I like to introduce myself.
Classic.
Stop it, man. That's Bismarcky, guys.
Hey, man, when I seen Biz in 2019, it was at this Source, like a Source museum or something. It was a Source museum. And so, you know what I'm saying, we pulled up. It was like a little blue Tesla truck there. You know, I got out with my fam. I came up there with, and I just heard somebody say, "Yo, Canibus sucks." So I turned around and it was Biz.
Standing there. That's Biz.
Biz crazy.
Jokes for days.
Chain swinging. Face look good. You know what I'm saying? He looked good. You know what I'm saying? This is 2019. And so, you know, 2021, you know, I always say, you know, we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better. You know, over the last week or two, you know, you see like certain artists, you know, things happening like Gonzo, you know what I mean? I used to watch him on the YouTube and stuff like that. And I know the era that he's from. And, you know, I grew up watching him on the TV screen. You know what I mean? Like Yo MTV, BET raps with Steph Love and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And we gotta do better, man. You know, we gotta do better because while we might not be, it might not be our era out there yellow taping, right? We gotta do better because, you know, mortality been staring us in the face for about 2 years, real hard now.
Yeah.
And you know, to me, it just looked like y'all just letting the media just eat it up and post the different, you know, milestones in people's lives, but we're more than just a blurb here and there on the Wikipedia, man. Like, you know, these guys are legends, you know what I mean? They did things that if it wasn't for them, hip hop would be chopped down to a quarter of what it is now. And everybody has them to thank for it. You know, even the artists that came, sold multi-millions of records, and then, you know, took a trip to Mars. Even those artists, they still owe, you know, some of these artists that, you know, not here anymore, they owe them. Absolutely. You know, we all do. You know what I mean? Also, I'm gonna say this and shut up about it. When you say culture and earliest memories, I'm gonna just keep it all the way a buck and say mixtapes, man. Mixtapes were so important. And DJ Doo-Wop was a favorite of mine. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows like the Ron G's, the SNS, you know, DJ Clue, you know what I mean? You K-Slay, you got these guys. Yeah. But WAP was special to me because WAP would take the beats that was just getting ready to come out. Like he would flip, you know, Benjamins, or he would flip like some brand Nubian. He would take the new tracks, you know, even what the Locks was doing. The Locks, remember, man, we were all on that mixtape circuit at that time. And Doo-Wop and the Bounce Squad, and they would flip they would flip those records in their own way. You know, instead of just playing the song, they would tear the beat up first, then play the song. So I want to send a shout out to Doo-Wop for that, because that was one of my earliest memories of creativity in the culture.
No doubt. What about you, Razzie?
I was pretty young. I feel like I might have been 7 or 8. I went to the Fresh Fest in Long Beach, and my sister took me. She didn't want to, my older sister, so I was just tagging along, and it was Houdini and Run DMC, and it was ill because like the stages were set like all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, so people would have to walk, like you'd run over, like Houdini opened up, and then the whole crowd would run over, and then they had to run back to whatever. So it was crazy. I was just this kid, man, and
And then what happened, Rass?
Then them niggas towing up, gang banging. I was a kid, nigga. They got the shooting, killing, throwing niggas off the. Was it the 60s? I don't know who started
shit
it.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who started it.
That's when I was like, oh.
I don't know who started it. I know how it ended.
I was like, rap is amazing and gang banging is real. These niggas is getting after throwing niggas off the niggas getting thrown off the fucking rails. I'm like, oh shit, this shit real. Like, I'm really in California. This is how I go down. It was awesome. I mean, and you know, I just remember not really too young to be afraid. I was just like, oh, this is what niggas do.
This is what it is. Yeah,
like rap music and these niggas. I kind of watched the fight, the riot, like I was watching the concert.
Right.
I was fascinated. I was just like, oh damn, wow. Yeah.
It was like giving a pigeon pop rocks. It just blowed up.
Yeah, it just blowed up. Yeah, bro, it was bugged out, and yeah, I'll never forget that, man. It that was like oh, it got tangible, it got real. Like rap is real. Like they really on the page. You know, the experience was very tangible, and I never forgot that.
Absolutely.
All I know is Rain Wizard,
who
controls the rainforest beast.
Oh. Bars.
Rain Wizard, who controls the rainforest beast. What the fuck? I've always wondered since we made that record. Jesus Christ, Jaguar Priest. Rain Wizard.
So crazy, man.
Canibus,
crazy.
What? Who's the rainforest beast?
The rainforest beast, man.
Hey. I mean, the beast of the rainforest.
I'm not biting these bars, but I'm gonna use these bars. I'm not biting them. I'm using them and give credit to the person who made it. But some bars are you just like leave them alone.
You go out there, smoke some
only
turtle.
One person needs to have that right there. They earned it.
Hey, you go blow some turtle over there next to the redwoods under
forest. What the fuck is this?
Redwoods, man.
Yeah, rain wizard, nigga.
That's crazy. That's
you know
crazy,
what? I'll be honest with you. I ain't really hear wizardry in rhymes before Canibus. Wizardry. Now, that is something I did get from Canibus. Wizardry. I never utilized wizardry in my rhymes, to my recollection, but I'm an old man. But when he said Rain Wizard, I was like, ugh. First thing came to my mind, cuz, was Conan. Remember when we used to watch Conan and Cousin?
Oh yeah, Beastmaster.
Yeah.
I never thought of utilizing wizardry in my rhymes. Canibus said, nigga, Rain Wizard. Who controlled the rainforest beast? I said, wizard. First thing came to my mind after Conan the Barbarian was Merlin.
Merlin.
And then I studied Merlin and found out how great he was. I said, oh my God. That's when I already knew who Merlin was, but I studied him after Rain Wizard.
Crazy.
And that's the thing about the Horsemen, because we learn so much off of each other.
Right.
Each one of us have a taste of knowledge that the other one didn't have. And Priest taught me things. Rass taught me things. Words, different terminologies. Canny taught me things. That was what, to me, that was what was so exciting about this group called the Horsemen.
That's dope.
And then Rass gave us our actual name because we were the Horsemen. We were the Four Horsemen, like Ric Flair and them.
Right.
We were the Four
I remember
Horsemen.
that. Yeah.
Came up with the idea of what the Horseman is, which is the biblical wop wop.
Right.
Candy told it, and this is what spelled our name.
HRSMN.
My boys are so special. The terminology, their wordplay, their lyrical abilities, their agilities, their this is what hip hop is about.
Absolutely.
HRS.
Yeah, I wanna
vowels.
I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the guys for putting a bow tie on the record. I mean, it really was a lot of unfinished. The saga was unfinished. There was no closure to it, and to sit back and look at the videos that were made, just how it was put together from start to finish, the excerpts that were put in there. I did appreciate sitting there listening to it myself. One thing I will say, and this is for no fault of our own, I don't get much time to think about it, but when I did sit down and go ahead and and reflect on it, I felt like, damn, we missed out on the like that earlier era, like to come out in that earlier era when that was what rap was about. Like, we missed that. We missed I'm glad what happened. Everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? So I'm not sitting up here, trying to make something out of it. I'm just saying it really was that's just like when Wu-Tang came out, they came out just at the right time. You know what I mean? When the Wu came out, it was just at the right time. When the Horsemen came out, we were looking to, just because of just the way that the label was pushing things, it was like they were trying to get away from just the lyricism that forced the listener to take them on a journey. We forced people to go pick up a book or go figure out, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? We forced them to visualize what we were writing and saying. And you know what I mean? It seemed like the game was just running in a direction where they wanted people to understand what they're saying. Like all the A&Rs, they wanted you to speak in a language and speak write and vocal in such a way that everybody understands what you're saying, when we was going in the opposite direction, because that was opening up more parts of the mind. Right. And we missed that window. That window was the greatest window in hip hop, when that was, because that was a time when, I know people don't really remember these guys and stuff like that. The only guy that I know that's doing it right now like that is like a Cambada, for example. But back then, you had the Cellar Dwellers, you know what I'm saying? You had like the Black Moons was doing it, Redman, right? Redman was always doing that, man. Like Redman was forcing you to listen to, you had to go on the journey with him. If you didn't go on his journey, you wouldn't understand what he was talking about. You had to get into it to understand it. But in doing so, you opened up your mind. Right. And this happened to anybody that would go out there and get, buy the tape. And you know what I mean? I just, man, it would have just been. And sometimes you could say, I know it's always, people saying, okay, the cup is half full. Well, why don't y'all just do it now? Can't do it now, man. You know what I mean? Different time. It's a different time. You can't do it now, So, I want to say thank you to the, to the team for putting a bow tie on that record and putting it out. It made some noise. And you know what I mean? At least, people got something that they can hold in their hand. And the artwork is nuts. I want to send a shout out to this man who did the artwork. The artwork is
Gifted Glitch.
Artwork. Yeah, okay. Yeah, shout out to Glitch, man. Hey, that artwork,
Crazy. I want to take you both back just a little bit. So, Canibus, first with you, the iconic, legendary freestyle, the 1997 freestyle that you did with DMX, Big Pun, Mike Geronimo, Mos Def, and John Forte. When you see that freestyle, or when someone brings it up, what do you recall about that time in your career, and rhyming with guys like Pun and DMX that are no longer here, and how hip hop was then as opposed to how it is now?
So my favorite part of that was when X said no, get him. Hope God's with him. Yo, that shit was so off the fucking, that shit came out of nowhere. listen, X. So when we went up there, I knew that X was gonna be there. I knew X was gonna be there, but I didn't know Nori was gonna be there. And the whole story about Pun trying to get upstairs, people only know that because I was the one that told that. I knew that Pun was downstairs because when I came downstairs, he was downstairs in the car. Fat Joe was with him. He was and Pun was in the passenger seat. And Pun was like, yo, man, they wouldn't let me. He was mad. He was vexed. And, you know, in my mind, because of what I just came out of, you know what I mean? I was careful to how I was speaking to him. Because in my mind, I was like, I hope this nigga don't want to like start no cipher out here in the fucking street, like on Hudson Street. Like I just came out of that. You know what I mean? So I just was like, yo, man. I was like, yo, word, you know, just letting them just go ahead and vent. But, you know, that shit from X, man, I remember we was in there. I started it on my feet. I wasn't sitting down and maybe I was sitting down for when we was talking on the mic, but when the beat came on, I stood up and I got to it, you know what I'm saying, on my feet. X was sitting for a while. And then once you started to see, maybe we got like 15 minutes in and X started to realize like, okay, you know, Def Jam, you know, I'm with Def Jam, you know what I'm saying? And he knew he had to, X started to go berserk and he stood up and he ain't want to sit down no more. And I don't know if Nori ever stood up. I think Nori, you know what I'm saying? You know, I love, you know, everybody got love for Nori, you know what I mean? But Nori knew that it was mainly DMX and Canibus that year. I think we had the biggest publishing deals that year in 1998. I think we was probably the most sought after that year. And I'm only saying this because this is what I remember. I'm not saying it because I was, you know, I'm trying to throw my name in it like that. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, you know, I feel like, you know, X had more history than me. X had been rhyming for longer. Definitely had more history. Like, you know, I heard stories about him when his name was Father Time. Like, and, you know, this is what I heard, you know, like, the locks used to rhyme under him. Like, he put the locks on and they kind of proved their pedigree even up to recently, even though they was always one of my favorite. I mean, you could go through my rhymes and see, you know, me mentioning their names here and there throughout the years, you know what I mean? So it's not nothing brand new. I mean, I remember when Locks first got signed, it was around the same time when I got signed. And I remember when Mace got signed, and I remember we were downtown somewhere in Manhattan, and they all had like these matching triple fat gooses on. They were beige. And we were out there and they were all, you know, they was like sitting or leaned up outside, and I had rolled up with like the Lost Boys at the time, and somebody was like, yo, let's throw a beat on. And I remember we was all looking at each other because they had just got their deal. I just got mine. And we knew that it would be better off. Like, nobody was speaking on it, even though if somebody would have said, yo, y'all need to show me something now, we would have all had to do it. But we were kind of, you know what I'm saying, showing each other the respect. Like, look, I know y'all niggas get busy, man.
Right.
You know, but I ain't gonna let y'all wash me out here like this. I just got my deal, so I'm gonna go for broke. So we gave each other that look, and we just all left it alone. You know what I'm saying? And I always loved them niggas for that, man, because that was me knowing that, all right, them niggas fuck with me, man, because them niggas didn't move. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't move neither. We was just standing there. We looked at each other. We just looked away, and you know, that was the same energy with X, man. Like, none of us wanted to face off in a way that it wasn't just a lyrical thing. And me and X made it lyrical that night. You know what I'm saying? We turned it from something that it always goes left. We turned it into something like old school, where it was just a cipher. You know what I mean? And that's what it ended up being. Now, Flex being the nigga that don't rhyme, and Flex won all the ratings and all the energy, Flex don't really care where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, the fans, the people that are listening from the outside, they never really care where it goes. They just want to see an all-out blood fest, right? But you know, I mean, it don't matter. Nobody's gonna care anymore anyway. But at the time, us MCs, we didn't mind the cipher in the building. You know, You get back to your pen work later on, you be like, yo, man, that I learned from that. You know, I learned from Priest. When Priest did Heavy Mental, the song had never been out before. It took me to another level as to what could be done with a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? When he did Heavy Mental a cappella, it was like reading, you know what I'm saying, a novel, right? So that's how we used to be with each other. You know, now I seen battle rap go to a thing where it's like, you know, these guys get at each other where it's like they don't even understand, like, look, man, one day you're gonna get old, and you're gonna be old too. And you know what I'm saying? All y'all gonna be working with is what y'all built together. Because whatever y'all build separately, you're gonna lose it separately, right? And when you lose it separately, there's no way to get it back. Not because you don't have the skill or the ability, but because as you age, you just don't have the stamina or the endurance anymore. This is all natural. You know what I mean? This is not something that nobody's defying that, right? So, you know, I just wish our brothers would kind of work together more than tearing each other down for real. Like what's wrong with doing WWF style or WWE style where, go out there, make a good show for the people, right? Even this interview right now, to me, it's a closed door interview. I don't know how far it's going to go, but I feel like it's a closed door interview. And I'm saying, you know, we should make it where it's like a WWE, WWF thing where these guys put on a great show for the people, for the public, because we're entertainers. But when it's over, we all get bread. We break bread. We're able to have barbecues. We're able to hang out with each other. We're able to, you know what I mean? We're able to build something together. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have the resources to do it. But when you really go for the bait and start to hate your brother who's doing the same thing you do, and pretty much we all carrying the same flag, we all under the same banner, man. Different cliques, different crews, different whatever, man. Different regions, we all got the same flag. That flag is hip hop, it's rap.
That's a fact. Yeah.
It's the same flag. We built this. We know what to do with it. We made money off it without the investment of the capital from these major labels. We still made money. We made ends meet. So, you know, it's a tragedy that we're not really building nothing. You know what I'm saying? And quiet is kept. People don't really know, but as we look at it, that shit is over with now. So even if people was to get together after this closed door discussion and say, well, yo, we gonna do this now. Well, look, the metaverse is here now. The metaverse is here, right? Not the metaverse. It's here. You look it up. That's where everything's going. And so, you know, our people got to get with it. And when I say our people, I'm talking about like, yo, every color, every nationality, every origin, wherever you're from. But if you rep that hip hop flag and you know that rhythm and poetry, you got that gene in you, then yo, the metaverse is where everything is going. And you know, if you go out there and you look, it ain't really many avenues for that right now. Y'all will figure it out, man. Y'all will figure it out. But I sure as hell wish, man, y'all would have got together and just like how we put a bow tie on this record, it took all this time, but just like how this bow tie got put on this record, that's where the metaverse is going. And by the time it gets there, you're just gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be living in that world.
It's gonna be there.
You're not gonna be an owner.
You're
not gonna be an owner. And it's sad, man. It's sad because you tell these niggas this, and they, you know, they reject it. You know, then they're in denial about it. And I started the first album out dialing up to the internet, right? You know, I don't think anybody else even was thinking about how important the internet was going to be. The only reason I was able to do that is because I had the edge. I was working for AT&T and the FCC at the time. I had a day job with them. I was, you know what I mean, my, you know, temp agency, and then I got hired on permanently, and I was getting on the internet in order to make service field tickets for the techs that were out in the field. And so I had an edge. I knew what the internet was about early.
Right.
And so when I tried to put it in my music, I mean, if you listen to that first album and you listen to the first interlude, Clef didn't even really know what I was doing, but he hopped with it. He, you know, yo, what are you doing? You trying to hack it to the NSA? This is federal. What are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was in 98. And we was brothers doing that, right?
Right.
And so, you know, now it's a regular thing, right? Everybody get on. The first thing they want to do is log on to their online app or what have you. And you know, it's just a goddamn shame. Nobody came to me after that and said, yo, you had some real bright ideas, man. You know what new bright ideas you got 2021? Nobody wants to know. Great. So we just gonna, you know, we're gonna slow ride. We're gonna slow ride this shit to the end, just like everybody else gotta do. And we're gonna watch all our greats, you know, reach the peak, decline. We're gonna do the same, and we're just gonna go through the same shit. If everybody wanna be dummies, then we all gonna be dummies, and we're just gonna go through it all over again, right? And there is no way out for us, you know what I'm saying? But it's not, I can honestly say, you know what I'm saying, with no regrets, that I gave it my best shot. I did everything that I could. Why they rejected it to the point where they didn't see it until it was way late, and then don't even have the you know what I'm saying, the foresight to say, well, what bright ideas you got now? Or what about my team? Like, we all got bright ideas. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to, our people don't want to jump on board something till it's already owned by somebody else.
Yeah.
Until it's owned. I said owned. Until it's already owned by somebody else. You know, I don't want to start no argument with nobody about nothing, man. It's just amazing to me, man. You know, it's amazing. We got all the talent. We got all the raw ability. It all comes from us, man. You know what I'm saying? All of it.
Yeah.
The breakdancing, all the elements, the graph, the graffiti, the turntablists. I mean, look at them, man. All of our legends, so many of them. They come, they go. No union, no benefits, no medical.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I look at this shit and I'm like, yo, this shit made billions, man. Like, they made enough to, you know what I mean? They made enough to take care of everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember a time when everybody had jobs just by being involved with the music. You had the craft services, you had the you know what I'm saying, the clothes designers, you had the you know what I'm saying, the makeup gals, you know what I'm saying? You had the dudes who used to run the dats from studio to studio, like the promo, you know, marketing and promotions, the street team.
Yeah, street teams.
They was riding around in expeditions, Eddie Bowers, like everybody had a job. And now look at you, hip-hop. Like, y'all done leased everything out to third parties. And like I said, I'm not saying this to make y'all feel a ways. What I'm saying is, if that's what you want, you got what you wanted. You know, so don't be vexed at, you know what I'm saying, our team and our era for not doing everything. We did everything we could.
Did it all. Yeah, did it already. Yeah.
We tried every avenue. We even tried to make radio records for y'all motherfuckers, man. We all tried to do that shit. Yo, just spit 16 bars. I'm gonna put Shorty on the hook. She gonna sing the chorus and then just repeat this part. We did it all. We tried everything, man. And you know what? People just couldn't see. They couldn't see it. And now, slowly, it got took away. It's been taken away, and it got took away, and it's going to the metaverse now. And y'all is late. And we got bright ideas, but yo, you know what I'm saying? It's all what y'all want to do, man. You know?
Got you. Rass Kass, man. The versus battle, the Locks, Dipset. They, you know, and we know that your song was first, the Home Sweet Home song, for which the Locks used that beat for We Gonna Make It. A lot of people may not know that was your beat first. What do you remember about you know, that point in your career, and let's set the record straight on how that beat ended up with the Lox after it was yours to begin with.
Oh man. I mean, long story short, Alchemist sold the beat twice. I paid him. He was paid in full. We have the receipts. You know, obviously, you know, it wasn't me. It's my label. I had a budget. So we had the receipts. We had the cash check. We had the contract signed and whatever. Al, I guess, ran out of beats. He finally got an opportunity to catch up with Jada. And he played beats and nothing stuck. And then he went into his breaking case of glass and sold the beat twice. I had already put the song on K Slade mixtape. Moni Love had a show. So I performed the song already. We were already manufacturing the vinyl. So that was the hold up. It takes 90 days to make vinyl.
Right.
And so we were already manufacturing. That was going to be, you know, the street single. Yeah, I mean, my buddy Wise P, I was in LA. Well, first of all, my A&R at the time at Capitol, at Priority Records, you know, A&Rs, they hang out together, whatever. So basically, the Rough Rider A&Rs, it was like a Friday. And apparently they came up to the office and they was like, yo, we got this hot, you know, this Jada's album's coming. We got this hot record. And played the record. He was like, nigga, we bought that record. We mind didn't get ours. So we were supposed to iron all that out Monday. Like what Al did. Like, Saturday, I get a call from my nigga in New York. He's like, yo, Flex is playing your record with Jada Kisses on it.
Oh, shit.
So they went and like, you know, and I get it. Business is business. Play. We were supposed to iron it out with our legal teams in the company Monday. They went and took it straight to Flex Saturday when they went back. So that was in poor form, you know, but all's fair in love and war.
Yeah.
And to this day, Flex is like, you know, he's always been a stand-up dude. He like, once he found out, he's like, dude, I owe you a spike because I took off of that record and changed. By Monday, the song was a hit.
Right.
And it, you know, I knew it wasn't Jada's fault. He didn't know. He just bought a hot, you know what I'm saying? So I never blamed him. And you know, to his credit, Al tried to make it right, but initially he denied and lied. And just to be very honest, I'm a fan of the Lox. I'm a fan of Alchemist. I'm not a fan of, you know, of when people do bad business with me, but the Lox didn't do bad business with me. Jada didn't do anything. What the execs at Rough Riders did wasn't cool, and what Alchemist did wasn't cool. Period. But I could have. First of all, you know, I have lawyers. I was signed to a major label, and you know, I could have easily did a cease and desist. He was shipping gold. That would have fucked. That would have fucked his whole project up.
Yeah, that would have fucked up a lot of shit. Yeah.
That's $1 million that you got to flush.
Right.
Can't like erase the song off the vinyl and track lists and CDs, cassettes, and vinyls.
Right.
So on some real human shit. And all I ever wanted was, you know, the credit for that. That I did the right thing because I'm a fan, and I felt like it was Jada's fault. They asked me, the company's like, well, shit. We just send Def Jam a cease and desist. That'll wash his whole project. And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
I'm a fan first. And I felt like what I would want somebody to do if the shoe was on the other foot.
Right.
I've always kind of felt like I would like my credit for you know, instead of like being the footnote. You know, I watch kind of, you know, Alchemist posts. I love you so much, bro. You know, the Jada Kiss, that shit kind of groupied out to me. I don't appreciate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Love me too, my nigga. Because I really looked out and tried to do the righteous thing. And then you start feeling like people, you know, taking your kindness for weakness. So, you know, but the answer is that's that, you know, again, you know, I'm a fan of people's talents and I felt like, you know, I did the right thing. Although, you know, Al lied about it, and then try to make me the bum nigga like I didn't pay you, bro. Like I paid you double what his rate was back then. So a buck.
Yeah.
I just like get
the credit where the credit is due.
Guru said it best. Give the credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. That's the story. All
right.
No more, no less.
All right. I had a couple more questions, man. I'm gonna let you guys go, man. The next one is you got all of you guys have had major label deals at one point in your career, and you've been independent. Which do you like better and why?
I like being independent because it forces me to learn things that I didn't want to learn, but it makes me a better business. I am my own business. But of course, utilizing other people's money is great.
That's right, Raz. I thought you was gonna mess it up, Raz. You said what it is, man. All right, my man.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, you know what though? Like, I would say that, come on, man, who don't love the majors, man? But the whole thing is, the majors, they didn't deal with us the way that they dealt with other
right
other genres.
Yeah, right. Like other savant, artists and other genres. They dealt with them like, all right, you know what, man? We see where you were going with it, like Rain Man style. Like, we see where you're going with it, but you know what? We can do something with this. We're gonna go ahead and push it. We're gonna continue with it. It's almost as if it's not almost. It was exactly that. We were speaking on things that had we had more time to, bring the listener into our world,
right?
It would have turned into a situation where, maybe you would have had, half a dozen or a dozen Pacs, right? But on different in different vibes though, Raz was in his own vibe, Kurupt was in his own vibe, I was in my own vibe, Priest was in our own vibe, but it would have really turned into something where it was like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, man, cult followings that were backed by a major that would have turned into things where when we had bright ideas, we would have had the resources to implement them without having to, without needing anyone's approval. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, we weren't trying to start revolutions, man. We was just making music and we were forcing people to think.
Right.
Where's the crime in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this is a first world country, and you know what I mean? Like, in spite of what's going on and how things, there is a constitution. People do, we did earn the right to be able to, you know what I'm saying? We read and we write, we earn the right to, write our poetry, have our thoughts. We earn this right to express ourselves. You know what I mean? It's not, we pay our taxes. Like, it's not something that it's not like we were committing crimes. You know what I'm saying? We were just making art, and now, you have like the NFT market all of a sudden, oh, it's great. The collectibles, the art. But then when it comes to our music, and art, rap music and the NFTs, it's like somebody just want to sell a chain or somebody want to, I'm not mad at nobody for what they're doing, but what I'm saying is it's not really reflecting the art of what we did create. You can't just make a painting and sell that as an NFT and say that's rap. Like, that ain't, like, rap got a whole lot more to do with it than that. And there's billions of dollars in that NFT market right now. Right. And I'm sorry to keep talking all this nerd shit to folks, but the thing about it is
this is shit we need to hear.
The thing about it is that's what the majors, we came to them with these kind of ideas then for what it was at that time. And they pushed it to the background.
let me cut you off a second. Do you think that had something to do with the fact that hip hop was still new, and they didn't know if the genre of music was even gonna last, or do you think it was just the fact that they were like, these kids don't know what the fuck they talking about, and they just
valid
didn't want
question. That's a valid question, but because of the energy that was involved, they knew it was so much energy, man. I mean, you remember what them tours was like back then, man?
Yeah.
Them tours was like, yo, people used to come there, used to cry. It was like, you know, we wasn't Michael Jackson, but there was times when I was on stage, I felt like Michael. You know what I'm saying? Like people standing up front, they crying, they passing out. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I'm gonna say it, man. Like I remember one time did an interview with Charlie Rose, or was it Bill Maher? I can't remember, man. But he straight up sunned me. You know, he really tried to play me. Not Charlie Rose. Charlie Rose was cool. It was Bill Maher. It was him, Bill Maher. With it. He was trying to play me, and I remember some question. I was young, right, and I was stupid. You know what I'm saying? And he said something, and I said, yeah, but AIDS was a biological weapon of warfare created. You know, he shut me down, right? And he shut me down. Now I didn't know that. Okay, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? This is TV. It's going everywhere. I was saying what I knew at the time. I knew this then. That yo, nah, man, this and that. I did the research on this. I looked up this. I paid attention to that. This one says, and this doctor from Cameroon and Africa says this, and so forth and so on. And so I knew what I was standing on, but he shut it right down. And after that, I know that things just, you know, things were a little bit different. And look, now you got certain things going on. And what are people talking about? They saying, yo, this is created in a lab. Yeah, this was to do this, so forth and so on. But see, we got a chance to go through the drills. So none of this is surprising to us now. And as a matter of fact, we're sick of it. We pretty much want them to get it over with. Like, I don't know if you see the irony in the Horseman album, but we're talking about things that are so end of the world-ish that, you know, we've been there for so long because the record, you know, the record was done so long ago that we're so over it. We kind of want everybody to get dragged off to the fun camps. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you want to be all the way honest, there's a side of us that are we're so over it that we feel we're not elite, but we feel a little bit like the elite when we look at people like they're dummies, and they have, you know, they don't want to be free. They want to be owned. They want to be, you know what I'm saying? They want to be shackled. They want to be fed, you know what I'm saying, poison. And so, you know, I just look at that and I just, you know what I mean? It's a Gordian knot for me, man, because it's like, yo, man, you know, like, all right, we're doing this interview. We're going to be on the magazine cover. You know, it's great. But the thing is it swaying in any way what our fate is, right? If the answer is no, then, you know, at this point, you can understand why we're all so cynical about anything being real or mattering anymore. You know what I'm trying to say? And they've driven us to that, man. And it ain't just us. Like, I was really, really enthused to see the locks come off like that.
All right, yo, Canibus, let me just end this off, man. The final question that I have is, what does hip hop mean to you? From the time that you got into it to the time that you've been through everything that you've been through in your career and to where you are right now, what does hip hop mean to you?
So for me, you know, hip hop was a language that I say probably came from before our time, like maybe from my ancestors, like just hip hop. It was a language that came from my ancestors. That's sometimes where you feel you get the energy from, the genetic memory, and then we put it down in our music and our poetry. And then hip hop, and that's the past, of course. And then hip hop, you know, is the future is hip hop in this metaverse, man. That's what it is to me, man. You know, language that became a lifestyle on the surface, it became all material things for people. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop became a material thing because, you know, all those clothing brands, you know, you go in the mall now, some of those clothing brands that are still on the racks, we broke those brands.
Yeah. Yep.
We broke those brands, you know what I mean? And so, you know, we're responsible for a lot of the way that the culture was able, you know, the lucrative side of what the culture was able to do. Not looking for any credit from it. I mean, who cares anyway, right? But as far as what hip hop means to me in the future, it's the metaverse. It's everything, man. It's everything that all these youngins are doing right now. They out there trying to remember what they going through right now. We didn't go through that when we was coming up, man. They going through a whole nother kind of obstacle course, right?
Right.
But they're gonna figure it out. And the metaverse is part of that. And you know, I would like to see it turn out to be something that, you know, for, you know, just for a change, just for a little something to switch up the trajectory a little bit, that maybe we could get to be owners in this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get to, you know, maybe we can get to choose what we want to do with it and how we want to promote ourselves and how we want to be seen, and not always be, you know, the object of someone else's imagination. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
You know, I'm just looking forward to that either happening or not. Like I told you, man, you know, hip hop is all things to lyricists from our era, man. Like we all sacrifice so much for it. We put so much blank energy into it. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have built a stone castle, man, with our bare hands, individually, each one of us, with all the energy we put into it. And you know what I mean? Yeah, man. I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all thanks for the interview. You hear me? Thanks for the time. You know what I mean?
Sir. I know you don't do a lot of interviews, man, so I really appreciate you coming through and blessing me with this one, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Yo, to the fullest, family.
All right.
Was the rest of the horsemen rolled out?
They all rolled out. Everybody rolled out.
So you know that that's like some superstar shit from the 90s. Like, yo, I'm gonna be the first one to leave out the club. You know what I'm saying? Just make everything look exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And the irony of it is, I'm the one that never show up. You know what I'm saying? So
well, I thank you for showing up today, man. This is a precious jewel, man. I thank you for giving out all the energy, man, that you gave out, man. I appreciate you, bro.
To the fullest, man. To the fullest, beloved. All right.
All right, peace.
Hey, I want to send a shout out real quick to everybody on my team that made this possible. All the rippers, you know what I'm saying? Like all the Canibus rippers, man, everywhere. I want to send a shout out, you know what I mean, to the developer, iPictorial, you know what I'm saying, Jim Crow, Jim Code, you know, pretty much like, you know what I'm saying, like my entire team, man, everybody that made this possible. I want to send a shout out to, you know what I'm saying, a couple folks who got on the line where we chopped it up. Some of the differences we had, we about to get back in and make things, you know what I mean, make things work together again. And yo, man, we're gonna see y'all in the metaverse. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, my brother.
Peace.